What is going on, Lancers? Welcome back to the Style of Gaming, and welcome to another edition of my Anthem Masterwork weapon reviews. In this video, I'm breaking down the Masterwork Autocannon Endless Siege, a monster of a cannon I think happens to be my absolute favorite weapon in the world of Anthem. Thank you to everyone who has shown the channel support. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and let's break down this potent minigun for the Colossus. For all intents and purposes, the autocannons are pretty basic looking weapons, but each of them has a hidden visual aesthetic that makes them unique and awesome to inspect. For Endless Siege, I love the golden barrel and the various golden triangles all over this weapon. I don't know what you call the unique parts of a minigun, so excuse my ignorance as I try and describe this weapon. I really enjoy the basic line work on the yellow grip. The black juxtaposition just really helps make that symbol pop, but the symbol is amplified and altered directly next to the trigger as it's black and white, and for whatever reason it just really pops on this thing. Again, it's basic yet complex, but one thing that's true of the autocannon's visual style, it's raw, and the bare visual is indicative of the destruction they can bring, and Endless Siege is a testament to the class. Endless Siege is a torrent-style autocannon, which means that it naturally increases accuracy the longer you fire. This is pretty pertinent when you consider that this thing has a base magazine of 400. The first time I played this weapon, I was like, Jesus Christ. When I saw my Colossus augmented the magazine to 432, I was ready to shred the forces of Anthem, and I was not disappointed. Endless Siege can't really be discussed without addressing its masterwork ability right away, which differs from some of our previous reviews. Without a special name, the ability states the base magazine is increased by 100%, as well as the base damage is also increased by 100%. This is probably one of the most straightforward, passive, as well as aggressive abilities in Anthem's arsenal. As a result, Endless Siege's volley of destruction delivers anywhere from 1600 to 3500 damage a shot to base enemies, and obviously scales this number to boss enemies whose health ranges in the million point category. This weapon is incredibly destructive against shields, but like most impact damage weapons, not so much to armor. But that's not to suggest you can't deal massive damage to hulking enemies with 400 plus rounds of carnage. The feeling of Endless Siege is phenomenal. It is truly the most minigun-like weapon of all the autocannons, and its giveback solidifies that. This weapon jumps big time in the first 120 bullets, but levels out with the torrent's natural accuracy buff. This results in a fairly long-range autocannon experience with very little damage drop-off. I found myself playing the mid-range in the first 1/4 of the mag and erupting over the map in the latter 3/4. The feel is only complemented by the visual and audio reaction, as your fellow Lancers will hear this beast rip through the battlefield. I love the fact that the autocannons show the casings eject off of each round, but when you have so many, the sounds and the visual are just so satisfying. Fired from the hip, this weapon is a bit out of control until you hit that natural accuracy buff, and you'll find yourself pulling off, looking down the sights, and just demolishing enemies. The major drawback to Endless Siege is its immense coil time as the barrel spins to initiate fire. However, don't be a schmuck like me and forget you can hold down the aim and begin prepping the barrel to spin and fire on a trigger's notice. It's important when preparing for large gates of enemies opening. I was greatly impressed to see Endless Siege even offering valuable damage to legendary enemies, so using this exclusively for gunplay is viable, but combined with the Colossus' apt nature of combos, you honestly become an absolute menace. As I stated earlier, just prepare for the long windup and then the painfully slow reload time. I found building around ammo drop was incredibly important because as you pick up ammo nodes and refill your mag, you can keep the torrent of destruction fluid without ever having to experience its major drawbacks. All in all, I'd say Endless Siege is a tier 2 weapon, teetering on tier 1 as its massive mag, damage output, static ability, coupled with immensely fun gameplay. It just made me fall in love with this weapon. I found myself using this weapon with ease in strongholds including Heart of Rage up to Grandmaster 2, and relatively holding its own in GM3. But as I've discussed previously, GM3 is the home of combos and elemental status effects, which gunplay typically takes a back seat to. You can mow through base enemies and wallop legendary enemies, seeing the only stifling of damage through armored legendaries. Endless Siege has provided countless hours of fun and really invigorated my primary Colossus build, finally having me switch from Balm of Gavinicus. You don't need to heal if you're shredding the shit out of enemies. There's really not much more to add to this weapon. It's incredibly fun, it is incredibly potent, and I guarantee you will see a large number of Colossus players using it as they unlock it because it is just an absolute amount of fun. Thank you to every Lancer showing support to the channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe and stay tuned for up-to-date Anthem coverage, reviews, gameplay, and more back here at the Style of Gaming, and I'll see you all out there in the world of Bastion.